There's a YouTube give an echo as Facebook.
Should not. Meaning it will open in a browser, and then you close that browser. You get copy the link and then you can put it on Facebook.
Just close the browser, that's it? Oh, I
Yes.
minimize.
Yeah, you can close, but copy that URL, Prabhu. You can give it to me or you put it on Facebook so that whoever is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I just.
That's fine. So close it. That's fine.
I have just muted. Okay. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine. Nityananda Kripa Patra Vrindavan Dhasa Chaitanya Nilayo Tanho Hanaye Adivyasa Panchatattvamakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam Bhakta Avataram Bhakta Kyam Nami Bhakta Shaktikam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri Gadara Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Jnana Tirumandasya Jananjana Sharakaya Chakshu Umnitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Okay, I will just do a quick, not a recap, just to get us in the mood. And we start that book from the summary, and then we had the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Nimai. They name him Nimai, but before that we spoke about Nityananda Prabhu. And why Nityananda Prabhu? Because he's an Adi Guru. Just like before Krishna appeared, Balaram appeared, and Balaram even appeared in the womb of Devaki we can say, to create the right atmosphere for the appearance of Krishna. Same thing here. Nityananda Prabhu appeared first, and then also a bit different. He appeared in the house of Sachimata, and he appeared somewhere else also. Is the same Nityananda Prabhu. And then we learn that from Nityananda Prabhu or Balaram, everything come after that. All the creation come after him. Okay, you know about that. But this is a very important thing to remember all the time, that without the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, we won't have the mercy of Krishna. Or Nimai, Pandit now, he's getting into the Pandit scholastic pastime. And then when the appearance of Nimai, it appeared on a full moon eclipse actually, and everybody was chanting, the name of Krishna, Haribol, Haribol. Even before his appearance, the holy name has already started to chant. That means, in this way, everybody started to chant the holy name because of fear at that time. But then later they will chant the holy name not of fear, but out of love. Because fear is something most of us, when we are in a very fearful stage, or we're having issues in our life, or we have problem in our life, then we are closer to God. Then when everything is jolly, we forget about God. That's a big test for us. That means this test is the same here. When they were afraid, they were chanting the holy name of Krishna, of course. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And then the name giving ceremony of the Lord, how beautiful he was. His face was like the moon, and he was golden color, and everybody was just coming to see him. And even the demigod, Lord Shiva, Parvati, all the goddesses, they were coming in incognito. They were assuming different form. They were coming just to look at him. And then also we read about how the thief tried to take him away because of his, they were attracted with him, but mostly because of he was wearing like jewelry. They wanted to steal that. And then, they took him, they go around, and then they find themselves back at the same place. They couldn't understand what is going on. One time they gave up. They said, "Oh, we give up. We cannot continue like this." And then this is how they were so attracted to him that they forget that they were even a thief. Even in Krishna Lila also there's a story like that. Somebody heard that Krishna is very rich. Anyway, we won't go into this pastime, but the same thing happened over and over. And then also we understood that there was a Pandit, a Brahmana, not a Pandit, old Brahmana, that was a priest, and he was a great devotee of Laddu Gopal, like Bala Gopal. And what happened about every time he cooked something, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu come and take it. Like this, it happened several times. And one point in time, he said he won't eat. And then, his elder brother convinced him, "Oh, no, you have to cook one last time." And even this last time, Nimai came and took the rice. And then, he displayed his form, who he is exactly. In that way, he has captured the heart of the devotees, because those devotees, they were part of the Krishna Lila, and now they are here again. And then we learn how his elder brother started to don't like what is going on anymore. He wanted to leave home, and then he left. And then when he left, Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra was not very happy about that, but they know it's a good thing that he did. But of course, as a parent, they were not happy. And then they said that, "Oh, our little Nimai is our only son now. We lost 6 daughters. We lost our son. Now the only one left is Nimai. How will we protect him?" They decided, okay, if Nimai continue to go to school, what will happen? He will also become so learned that he would want to leave the house also. Then they decided, no, stop going to school. And then they said, okay, Nimai as a little boy, he cannot complain. Then he started to display his dissatisfaction, and he started, he's always naughty and doing even naughtier thing again. Now he's starting to break stuff in his neighborhood, banana tree, make people scared, and people, they'll complain, but what can they do? Jagannath Mishra make as if he has not heard anything, because he doesn't want to send him to school. And then one day Nimai said that, okay, I will teach you a lesson now. What Nimai did, Nimai sit on a pile of broken pot. Of course, this pot that has cooked prasad, offering for Lord Vishnu. And of course, when you cook on a pot, you will get this black soot, they call it. Then Nimai was sitting there, it's getting dark with all these dirty, charcoal thing. Then his body was like becoming like, like blue, and with this, his gold color, but with this black, he was becoming like a little bit like sapphire, like the color of Krishna. And then his mother, Sachimata, was saying, what are you doing there? It's something very dirty. You should get up out from there. And then, he said, no, this is clean because this was used for Lord Vishnu. It is clean. Now he started to preach with his mother like Dattatreya. And then finally, the people were assembled there. Then finally they said that, okay, we'll convince Jagannath Mishra to send you back to school. Now, in this chapter, Jagannath Mishra did say, okay, you go back to school. And then now we are seeing that when he go to school, just like Krishna went to Sandipani Muni, and he goes to Gurudas Pandit, and then now Jagannath Mishra is going there and asking permission whether he can join the school. And from today, we'll read from here and to see what goes on. And he's Krishna himself. I mean, for him, he is just a pastime. And now we'll see how he will challenge even Murani Gupta, elder classmate. He will challenge everybody. He will even contradict and then re-put the statement forward. Okay, let's continue from page 453, text 31.
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hari Bol. गंगा दासा बोले बड़ा भाग्य से हमारा पड़ी मुँह याता सके अचियत हमारा. Gangadas replied, it is my great fortune. I will teach him to the best of my ability. Text 32. Sisya dekhi parama ananda Gangadasa putra pare kariya rakhila nija pasa. Gangadas was most happy to see his new student, and he treated him like his own son. The word pyasa means equal, and the word pasa means pasa comes from the word parasha, which means near. Next, Yata Vyakhya Gangadasa Pandita Karena Sakarti Sunile Matra Thakura Dekhina. After hearing only once, the Lord would assimilate whatever Gangadas Pandit explained. The word Sakara means once, and the word Dharena means to realize or master something by deliberation. Gauda yate ka vyakhya karena kandana punarabaresi vyakhya karena sthapana. He would refute the explanation of his guru and then again establish the explanation and that he did just refuted. Sahasra sisya pade yata jana hena karo sakti nahi divare dushana. There were thousands of students, but no one had the ability to defeat his explanation. The word divare dushana means to find fault or refute. Dekhiya adbhuta buddhi guru harsa sita sarva sisya Srestha Karila Pujita. Gangadas was pleased to see Nimai's wonderful intelligence and he accepted him as his best student. The word Pujita means to worship or to honor. Yata Pade Gangadasa Panditera Sthane Sabariye Thakura Chalena Anukasane. The Lord would regularly challenge and defeat all Gangadas Pandit and Pandit's other student. The word Chalena means the induce, to move, to shake, to bewilder, to defeat, or to defute. Sri Murani Gupta Siri Kamala Kathana Nama Krishna Ananda Adi Yata Gosthira Pradhana. Sri Murari Gupta, Sri Kamal Kant, and Sri Krishna Anand were some of the Lord's prominent classmates. Sri Murari Gupta is the composer of the Sanskrit book Chaitanya Charita. He was born in Sri Hatha in the family of doctor, and later he came to reside in Navadvip, where he became a student of Gangadas Pandit. Sri Adi Khanda, chapter 8. Nimai debate with the elder Murari is described in the Adi Khanda, chapter 10. And Murari's happiness upon seeing the Lord's devotional symptoms born from feeling or separation from Krishna after his return from Gaya and describes in the Madhya Khanda, chapter 1. The Lord's manifestation of his Varaha from at Murari's house, he describes at Madhya Khanda, chapter 3. And in Chaitanya Charita Adi Leela, chapter 17. After hearing Gaura and Nityananda glorify each other, Murari smiled and joked. See Madhya Khanda, chapter 4. Murari is taking part in the Lord's Kirtan at the house of Srivasa is described in Madhya Khanda, chapter 8. At the time of the Lord Mahaprakasha, Murari lost consciousness and later cried in love of offered prayer to the Lord. The Lord responded by glorifying his servant Murari. See Madhya Khanda, chapter 10. Murari's participation in water sports with the other devotees is found in Madhya Khanda, chapter 13. On the night the Lord danced in the dress of Murari's Mahalakshmi, Haridas, and Murari dressed as a constable, introduced in the Lord's Dharma. See Madhya Khanda, chapter 18. One day at the house of Srivasa Pandit, Murari Gupta saw Gaura and Nityananda seated together. Murari first offered obeisances to Gaura and then to Nityananda. The Lord, however, was displeased and said to Murari, "You have transgressed equate while offering obeisances." That very night in a dream, the Lord taught Murari the glories of Nityananda. The next morning, Murari first offered obeisances to Nityananda and then to Gaura. Seeing this, the Lord was pleased and he gave Murari the remnant of his chewed betel. By accepting those remnants, Murari's intelligence was purified and he received love of God. Once in the mode of supreme controller, the Lord spoke in anger to Murari Gupta about the impersonalist Prakashananda of Kashi. Thereafter, the Lord glorified the eternal truth regarding his name, form, qualities, and pastime. The Lord blessed Murari, who thereafter offered rice and ghee to the Lord. The next morning, the Lord came to Murari for treating the symptoms of indigestion that he exhibited because of eating heavy foods. Thereafter, the Lord exhibited his pastime of being cured by drinking water from Murari's water pot. On another day, when the Lord manifested his four-armed form in the house of Srivasa, Murari took the role of Gaura and carried the Lord on his shoulders. Considering that separation from the Lord after his disappearance would be unbearable, Muradi decided to give up his body while the Lord was still present. While the Lord was still present. The Lord, who is the super soul of everyone, checked Murari from crying out on his plane. These and other pastimes are described in the Madhya Khanda chapter 20. The pastime of Murari and other devotee chanting at night with the Lord God throughout the street of Navdvipa, and Murari and other devotees crying happiness and seeing the Lord drinking water at the house of Sridhana are found in Madhya Khanda. Chapter 23, after the Lord took sannyasa and came to the house of Advaita Acharya, Sachi along with Murari and other devotees went there to meet him. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit Madhya 3.153. Murari accompanied the devotee every year to visit the Lord in Puri. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit Madhya 11.86, 16.16, as well as Ante 10.9, 121, 140, and 12.13. One day, on the order of the Lord, Murani Gupta recited 8 verses in glorification of Lord Ramchandra. The Lord then blessed him. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antelila, chapter 4. Murari is sporting in the water of Narendra Sarovara is described in the Ante Khanda, chapter 9. Murari humble prayer and his receiving the mercy of Lord and described in the Chaitanya Charita Amrita Adi 17.77 to 78 and Madhya 11.152 to 158. Seeing Murari's attachment of the Lord Ramchandra, the Lord gave him the name Ramdas. This is found in Chaitanya Charitamrit Adi 17.69 and Madhya 15.156. Murari meeting with the Lord South India traveling companion Kala Krishna Das when he visited Navdvipa is found in the Chaitanya Charitamrit Madhya 10.81. His chanting during the Rath Yatra festival is described in the Chaitanya Charitamrit Madhya 13.40. His meeting with Sanatan Goswami is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita Ante 4.108 and 7.47. Murari's meeting with Jagadhananda is described in the Chaitanya Charitamrit Ante 12.98. Text 39. Sabare chale prabhu panki jinaya asya sisu jane kehe kichu na bole hasiya. The Lord challenged and defeated them all, even the elder boy, but they would consider the Lord just a child and simple smile at him. E mata parite dina padiye suniya Ganga snane chale nija vyasa liyaya. Every day after school, the Lord went with his friend to bath in the Ganga. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mata. Anything you want to share with us?
So, Prabhu, yeah. And text 38, we saw that, so, yeah, we cannot get mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without pleasing Nityananda Mahaprabhu. So, yeah, we see in the text 38. So this point is
Yes. Yes, thank you for that. This is a very important point again. And I was talking about it earlier, and now it's being demonstrated in this chapter again, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not like this. And also sometimes, between the avatar of Vishnu, they are all equal. Of course, Krishna is avatari, but we should not disrespect. Even the demigod, we should never disrespect, because they are better than us. They are devotees of Krishna. And we are not even sure that we are devotees. Maybe we are trying to become devotee, but we are very far from that. That means they have worked very hard and to achieve that position of a demigod. I mean, we have to respect them as well. Then we saw there, to pacify Murari Gupta, the Lord gave him, after eating the betel, chewing it, he gave it to him as prasadam. And the Lord said that he was purified. Murari Gupta was purified after that. And then also, the reverse also is true. After he was fed with rice and ghee, now what happened? He had some type of indigestion. And then how he get cured? He get cured by drinking the remnant of water from Murari Gupta. Can you see that? Sometimes it's difficult to understand. We said that getting the prasadam of the Lord, we get purified. But now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is taking, for example, the prasadam of Murari Gupta. He's getting purified now, in a way. He's getting cured. This is an irony, but it is like that. This is the beauty of this type of pastime. We see how we should respect everything in these devotees' life. And then also at the last part of this purport, we saw that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Murari Gupta, actually Murari Gupta actually is a great devotee of Lord Ram, and he is actually an incarnation of Hanuman. And then, of course, he will chant the name of Ram all the time. And they wanted to test him, tell him, you should not chant the name of Ram, you should chant the name of Krishna. Krishna's name is superior than Ram. Why are you chanting the name of Ram? But, just to please Lord Chaitanya, Murari Gupta actually did it. But his heart was very, very, as we say, choking. Like, when you will get a heart attack, your heart is shrinking. He could not even sleep like that. And then, of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was playing with him just to see how much he is faithful to Ram. Then, of course, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him to recite some prayers, which he did, and then asked him, of course, we were just like teasing you. And then he said, you can continue to chant the name of Ram, of course. And like this, we will see many examples like that as we go. Let's continue. Who want to read text 41 onward?
I can read, Prabhu.
Okay.
Paduyara antanahi navadvipa pure padiya madhyahne sabe ganga snan kare. In Navadvip there were innumerable students, and they all took bath in the Ganges at midday. At the time of the Lord, there were many schools in Navadvip, wherein innumerable students from various provinces studied the scriptures. The area of Navadvip at that time stretched northeast up to Dvipachandrapura. Text 42. Eko adhyapakera sahasra sisyagana anyo anye kalaha karena anusana Each teacher had thousands of students, and all the students would regularly challenge one another. Prathama Vyasa Saprabhu Swabhava Chanchala Paduya Kanera Saha Karena Kondala. As the Lord was young and restless, he would also quarrel with the other students. The word Prathama Vyayasa mean in childhood or in boyhood. Keha bole tora guru kon buddhi tara. Keha bole e dekha ami sisya yara. Some would challenge, your teacher is not very learned. Another one would say, see whose disciple I am. E mata alpe alpe ayagala gali. Tabe chala fela feli. Tabe deya bali. In this way, they began to quarrel with harsh words, and soon they would splash water and throw sand on one another. Tabe haya muramari ye yat hare ku pare kardama felia karo gaye ke hamare. Eventually, they would beat one another or throw mud at one another. Rajara dohe diya keha kare dare Maria palaya keha Gangara upare. Some boy in the name of the king would catch another boy, and someone would beat another and then swim across the Ganges to safety. The words Gangagara upare refer to the present-day city of Navadvip, Kudiya, and the village of Ramachandrapura. Eta huda hudi kare paduya sakala balikada maya sapa ayaganga jala. They wrestled so intensely that the waters of the Ganges became full of sand and mud. Jala pari bare nahi pare nari gana na pare kari tesnana brahmana sajana. In that situation, the girls were unable to fill their water pots, and the gentle brahmanas were unable to take their bath. Parama chanchala prabhu Vishrambara raya eta mata prabhu prati gate gate yaya. See, Vishrambar was most restless. He went to each bathing ghat. The word prati gate refers to his own bathing ghat. Barakona gata, Madhais gata, Nagariya gata, and the other gata. Haribol.
Thank you, Prabhu. Would you like to share?
Yeah, this verses just tell how all the students were very intelligent, but at the same time they were also debating one another, and they were very mischievous, And of all of them, Nimai Pandit was number one. He said he was the most restless, and then they would challenge each other, and also tells us that Navadvip at that time was a big center for education. Everybody came from everywhere to study there.
Yes.
That's all I can say.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Yeah, we know that in that particular time, India, even, let's say 2,000 years ago or even 5,000 years ago, we know that we know India as Bharatvarsh. That means India was not India. The name India came just well after, but it was a very rich place. Even later, we know that the Ottoman and the Mughal and all that, they wanted to conquer India. even and then after the British, they came, and then Portuguese and this and that and that. So many conquerors wanted to conquer India because India was a rich country in many aspects, in terms of gemstone, in terms of education, in terms even of textile, in terms of metallurgy, many things. India was very much advanced. We know that the British, they did not have many things they did not have. Actually, Sheffield of England, where when they came to conquer India, metallurgy actually they learned from India, and then they took it to England. Even weaving, fabrics and all that. All this was something they got from India, and then of course they mechanized it. India was mostly by hand, and they were very expert in dyeing also, different color variation. Up to today, it is like that. I mean, India was very rich, and then the spices and all that. And that means after that, Kashi and all that was a learning place. And then in the time of Lord Chaitanya, Navadvip, Bengal, was a center. Actually, when the British came, Calcutta was a major port in India, not Bombay, as we know today. And meaning that it was a learning center for all the scholar. And this is why many students was there. And then, of course, they will challenge each other. Even nowadays, we have different university organizing different competition to show, who is better than the others. The same thing was happening, and then they were fighting each other also. And, then we saw how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we know Krishna appear in Vrindavan where Yamuna is, and then Ganga was always thinking, oh, I never get the lotus feet of Krishna. When will I get this? But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually fulfilled that. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was always bathing in the Ganges, playing water sport, doing all type of thing in the Ganges. That means this is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fulfilled that desire of Ganga Mata. Okay, let's continue one more round. Who else want to continue from text 51?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I can read.
Okay.
Prati ghate padu yara anta nahi paaye Thakur kalah kare prati thani. At each ghat there were innumerable students, and the Lord debated at every ghat. Prati ghate yaya Prabhu Gangaya Santari Eko ghate dui chari Danda krida kari. The Lord swam to each ghat and enjoyed debating there for 1 or 2 hours. Yata yata pramanika paduyara ghana tara bole kalahaka rahaki karana. The senior students asked the boys, why are you arguing? The word pramanik means knowledgeable, mature, principal, or expert. Jignasa karaha buji kara kona buddhi riti panji tikarake jane dekhi shuddhi. Let us see who can explain the proper forms of Riti, Panji, and Tika. Riti is the brief explanation of a verse. Tika is the expanded explanation of a verse. And Panji is a poetic description of a subject. Previously, Kayasthas used to write Panji on the Kalapa grammar composed by Sarva Varma. There is a Tika written by Susen Vidya Bhushan, a Panji written by Tilochan Das, and a Vritti written by Durga Simha that are all very famous. Gangadas Pandit taught Kalap grammar to his students, headed by Nimai. The word Shuddhi means the pure form, the real truth, the purport, and the confidential truth. Prabhu bole bhala bhala ei katha haya jignasuka amare yahara chitte laya. The Lord replied, yes, good, you can ask me anything you like. Keha bole eta kene kara ahankara Prabhu bole jignasaha echite tomara. One student asked him, why are you so conceited? And Nimai replied, ask me whatever you like. Dhatu sutra vakhanaha bole se paduya Prabhu bole vakhaniye shunamana diya. The same student then said, explain the sutras on verbal roots. The Lord replied, listen attentively to what I say. Sarva Shakti Samanvita Prabhu Bhagavana Karilena Sutra Vyakhya Ihaya Pramana. The all-powerful Supreme Lord Vishwambar then explained the sutras according to the prescribed grammatical rules. The word praman means perfect evidence or faith. Vyakhya suni sabe bole prasamsa vachana Prabhu bole ebe suna kariye khandana. Hearing his explanation, everyone praised him. The Lord then said, now hear me refute these explanations. Yat vakhya kaila taha dushila sakala Prabhu bole sthapa ebe kara ache bala. After the Lord refuted each of his explanations, he then asked, now who can re-establish these explanations? Haribol.
Okay, Prabhu, would you like to share the realization?
It's a continuation of last 10 verses that Prabhuji read. But in text 54, it says this, that grammar came from, like in ancient India, the grammar came there first, and then so all like I don't know how to say it probably, but the all knowledge and the grammar and what have you, they all come from India, then it to all over the world. Yes, okay, you can go ahead, probably.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, as I was saying before, India is not India. Bharatvarsh is a center of learning, and this is, of course, we know that from from all culture that we can see today, we can go back in time and see For example, the Bible, based on Jesus Christ's teaching, is not more than, we said 2020 now, 21, BC. Like after death or before Christ, and then there was the Old Testament. But the Vedic literature, we don't have a date when it was published, because before it wasn't even published. It was, Shruti and Smriti after that. It was not written, it was passed on like from guru to disciple. And then that means there is no date that we can put on the Vedic culture. That's why we know that the oldest teaching is from the Vedas. And of course, and now something that we just learned, there are different way of reading. We can read by, like giving a brief explanation, and then we can give an expand, like Prabhupada did on the, on the purport. He gave an expanded explanation, and then the same thing can be written poetically in a different way. For example, some of us are very good writers, and they can write poetry and all that. And you can give an explanation in a poetry form with rhythm, and all that. And this is beautiful, actually, how things can be explained differently, because different people have different mood, and you have to capture the attention in the mood they have. And some people, they are very scientific. They would like to get very scientific proof of thing. Like, like Caityna Charan, for example, we call it the Vedic scientist. The way he explained things, and the word he used, sometimes we have to work with a dictionary to look at it. But some people, like academician, they will like him, for example, for it will be very palatable for the ears to hear. And for example, if you take Bhakti Chaitanya Swami, for example, he liked to give pastime, very sweet pastime, to explain things. For example, like we just read how Murani Gupta, this is Bhakti Siddhanta writing, Saraswati, Bhakti Saraswati writing in the purport, like you see, it's like giving example by pastime, how he taught Murani Gupta to be careful next time. Some people will write like this, and some people they will like write differently. Everybody has their own style, but everything is good. Doesn't mean that one is better than the other. Actually, to attract different audience, you need different techniques to approach. And even some, like in singing, for example, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he will preach by writing his own, like all these songs, bhajan that he wrote is actually extracted from Bhagavad Gita and other texts, but he wrote them in a different way. And then some people, when they will sing along, they will do their job. At the end of the day, when we did the model, Yashoda Maya was singing and doing her house chore, for example. There are different, of course, when some sing rhyme, and then it stuck in our brain, then different style attract different type of people, meaning that everybody's way of teaching is good. Of course, as long as we're not off topic, we're not contradicting we're not putting our own interpretation, we're not making it, we're not changing the meaning. As long as we stick to the roots. Of course, we're modern. For example, nowadays when we explain something, we make analogy with a car. For example, the driver in a car, the passenger in a car, like the body, analogy, for example, in the Vedic time, okay, there was Viman, but there was not cars like we know nowadays. You understand what I mean? That we can use analogy to explain, just to make people understand. This is the best way. If we can extract the essence, put it forward in our own word, as long as we conserve, the right meaning of the topic. Okay, and we'll stop here for today. And if anybody has any thing to add, please go ahead.
Question. In the Murani Gupta pastime, with the stories you're hearing, it was also mentioned that he took the form of Garuda.
Yes.
So he's Hanumanji. He's also Garuda.
Okay, this I don't have the. I know in a pastime, he was dancing, and he took Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and put on his shoulder, and he was carrying him as Garuda. Whether he is Garuda, I don't know, but for sure we know he's Hanuman. But maybe in Chaitanya Lila, I think he's both, because in Chaitanya Lila, as we were saying, this pastime, different personalities combine in one personality. We have seen this, like even Advaita Acharya is Sadashiv and Lord Vishnu. Of course, Sadashiv come from Lord Vishnu. That means they are the same. But on our pastime that we know on earth, there are two different personalities. Like Arjun, for example, Arjun that we know, and Arjun, there's another Arjun Gopi. They came in Chaitanya Lila as Ramananda Rai. Even one of the Saki, like three personality in one personality in Chaitanya Lila. It can happen, bro.
Okay, thank you.
Any other person want to add anything before we go on to our how do you call this, takeaways? Okay, let's note down. I will read just a few, not a few, just to remember. Okay, like last time we wrote, Brahmana is not by birth. It's from the mood and the effort that we put into it. By hearing the topic of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one get devotional service. Everything that we do, Krishna, whenever we do something, we put Krishna's name, and everything, become purified. And also, the holy name is a weapon for the age of Kali. Okay, any takeaways for this session?
Like Mataji said, without the mercy of Lord Nityananda, you cannot get Lord Chaitanya.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Okay, it's okay if you have only one. And let me read another one so that. Okay, one, chanting properly in a group. Krishna come personally. This is from, I forget which chapter we got this. When we offer something we love and devotion, the Lord reciprocate. Devotee does not upset everything. Okay, maybe I write it. Devotee does not upset everything. Okay, if devotee are not upset in any situation, of course, then we get the message of Krishna.
One thing we can say, Prabhu, from this, by accepting the remnants of Krishna, our intelligence can be purified and we can receive the love of God.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Just along the same lines, Prabhu, how important it is to take the remnants of Vaishnava, because Lord Chaitanya showed us that he took he drank from the water pot of Muradi. So we learn from that the importance of remnants from Vaishnava, how it's very, very important for our spiritual growth.
Yes, that's why I say that when great personality come, for example, when Guru come, that's why we fight to get their prasad, the Mahaprasad. Yeah. Okay. Okay, it's already 9. Yeah, 1 minute past 9. We'll stop here for today. I would like to thank you, everybody. I will stop the